Mount Okepamos, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Pokondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia, for Liberia, Liberia, for Liberia, yeah, 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 yeah. From Monday to Sunday, from Monday to Sunday, it's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs, eh, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday. Focus on.
Hello and welcome to Focus on Liberia. Today we spotlight a cultural movement that has shaped Liberia for more than 5 decades. The Dehkontee Artists Theatre Incorporated, better known as DATI, is preparing to host a week-long and cultural festival in Monrovia, culminating into the second annual Rabbi Joe Gbaba Peace and Cultural Festival. This year's celebration is more than a festival. It marks 49 years of DATI's existence, 52 years of Dr. Joseph Gbaba's distinguished artistic career, and the official launch of a national effort to build Liberia's first school for the performing and visual arts. With the theme, Teaching and Institutionalizing Liberian History and Culture in Liberian Schools, the festival aims to strengthen cultural identity, promote peace, and invest in the next generation of Liberian artists. Joining us this afternoon is the man at the center of this movement, playwright, educator, and cultural historian and peace advocate, Dr. Joseph Gbaba. He's also being joined by the national coordinator of DATI, that's Meschach, Sieh, Elliot. I want to say welcome to the show. Welcome. And we are so happy to have you both. Thank you for joining us.
Join us now.
Now we are.
Valeu.
Let me first welcome Dr. Gbaba to the show. Dr. Gbaba, we are glad to have you once again.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me. And thanks to all who are watching today. We say thank you very much, and we hope that our conversation will be helpful and fruitful so that we can all benefit, from the wealth of experience and knowledge that God has bestowed upon us, that we are willing to share with the people of Liberia so that we can uplift our country and promote national peace and unity.
Thank you. Let me also welcome the national coordinator for Dehkontee Artists, or DATI, Liberia, Meschach, Sieh, Elliot. Meschach, if you can unmute your phone, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Mr. And so by way of intro, my name is Meschach, Sieh, Elliot. I'm the national coordinator of Dehkontee Artists Theatre Incorporated, DATI, Liberia. It's an honor being on this platform. This is my second time on this platform. Again, I want to say thank you for welcoming.
Thank you. We want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. If you have not already done so, please hit that share button, invite someone, and let's get started. Dr. Baba, let me start with you. Uh, the festival marks 52 years of your artistic journey and 49 years of Dati's existence. This is a milestone. Let's talk about that for a minute. Dr. Baba, we listen to you being long from Carroll High all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, bring people that are watching this for the first time, bring us up to speed of this 40. When we say 49 years of Dati and 52 years of your career, talk a little bit about that. What does that mean? What does that milestone represent?
First I want to begin by thanking God, Almighty God, because it's not an easy task to be a pioneer and or to stand alone in a field where you don't get money. Nobody really cares, and you don't have to work with all to combat the forces of Western imperialism. Because what has happened in our country, and I want Liberians to listen very keenly, because you have an opportunity, and thank you, Dennis, for the opportunity for me to speak to the Liberian people. Because most of the time, the press does not come to me to seek wisdom and knowledge. If I should ever get on any platform or radio station in Liberia, they ask me to pay them money for me to share this kind of wisdom and knowledge that I'm about to share to everybody now. Which is a very challenging thing, because then the press itself is suppressing the culture and history of the country. Because if you have a specialist, an icon in the field who has all this wealth of knowledge that needs to be shared with the people, and you don't give them access to the press for them to speak, you suppress my speech, but what you're doing, you are suppressing the people of Liberia. And that's why we're in the condition we're in today. So let me explain exactly what I'm talking about. When Liberia was declared independent by free slaves who came from the Western world, they came with a package. These were people that lived in the Western world under slavery. So the idea of slave mentality existed in their brain and all of that. They were brainwashed. And what did they do to these Africans that they took in the Western world? First, in order for them to de-Africanize them, the slave owners changed the names of the Africans that went there. Our African names have meaning. We don't just name a child because we feel like naming the child. So if you took somebody elsewhere, you took a child from Liberia and brought a child to America, or a child that is called or Sieh, and you take Sieh and bring Sieh to America, you call him James. The meaning of that child's heritage and his background is completely lost. That's the first thing they did. The second thing was that they deprived them of their language. Your language that you speak, that language is a gift from God, and is an identity. It's a natural identity that God gave. So for instance, let me give you an example. God created man. He created you and myself and all of that. So what God did, God said, well, if all my children that are created, if they all have one name, then I won't know who did what. Whether it's Dennis or whether it's Meschach and whether it's Dr. Gbaba. So you can see what the names does to the names, what the names do to us. The names first of all tell us that we are three individuals here on the interview. but we can identify each of us based on the name. So what they did when if you change Dennis Jar to Peter Paul, you know, somebody that knew Dennis Jar before, when they see him and they call him Peter Paul, they say, oh, but then this Peter Paul look like the Dennis Jar that I know. So your name is an identity. The language. So to suppress the black people, they decided to spread them all over the place so that they wouldn't communicate. Because the language is a tool that we use to communicate. And when you communicate, that's when you understand one another. So the lack of communication and all those things, they all happen in one piece when the ex-slaves came to Liberia and they introduced the Western form of governance. There are five pillars of every society that if you want to conquer the people, if you want to make them to be enslaved in their own land, as we are as is happening to us in Liberia, there are 5 things that you can do. First of all, you change their language. You present a different language. So the language that when they declared the Republic of Liberia, the language they wanted everybody to speak that English. English is not an African language. So 99% of the people, they were in limbo. Some of them are still in limbo. They don't understand English. But that's the official language that was imposed on the people. Religion. Religion is another aspect. So what they did also was to change our African spirituality. The way how we worship God. The way how we cherish our ancestors. All those things that were changed so that they came and said, oh, for you to be saved, you know, I don't know what they mean by that. I said to say our ancestors were not saved when they met them. In order for you to be saved, you gotta throw aside don't speak your language. In order for you to be saved, don't practice your religious practices. When you do those kinds of things to the people, what happens is that you mentally enslave them, so that in the final analysis, anything that you say is what they're going to do. That's what's happening to Liberia. That's what has happened to Liberia. So for someone like me who is conscious of those things, growing up from parents who are of royal descent, who told me how their ancestors were kings, they were rulers, and all those kinds of things, to come and find out that these people are now the plebeians, you know, of the society, because it's a different kind of strata that were established and all of that. So those things there kind of affected the country. The third thing that I want to talk about is the educational system. In traditional society, our ancestors were self-sufficient. They didn't have to depend on anybody to import pusawa rice for them to eat. They did not. But what happened? What happened is that the educational system that the Poro, the Sandy, that they had, we went there, our ancestors went there, and they learned how to live in an immediate environment. The education was culturally relevant. But when you come and bring an educational system where the child from ABC, SOSO to PhD level doesn't know how to make a bench. He doesn't know how to even farm. He doesn't know how to produce anything, nothing of that kind. Just the ABC and SOSO they're learning with no skills. No skills. No skills of relevance to the society. So that person, now you say, is educated. Well, he may be educated for a different society, but not for Liberia. So
Dr.
those
Gbaba,
yes.
in the interest of time, because all the things you were mentioning, you know, I have questions about them, but I don't want us to go into them, right?
Okay.
So for the interest of time, let's come. I know that background is great, but let's come to the cultural festival, because I was asking you about the milestone, your 52
Yeah.
years and then the 49
Yeah, so
years of that.
the milestone, that's what I'm trying to explain. The milestone, I won't go
Yes.
in depth because of
Because,
time,
you know,
as you said.
like we can say all that, but the repatriated Africans and or former descendants of former slaves, they practice what they knew, and it was not a requirement. People still practice their poro. They didn't stop them, right?
No,
People
they stop them. They stop them. They stop them. They stop them because
how?
because if you did it, then you are not civilized. And if you're not
Right.
civilized, then you are ostracized from the society. So they stop them. But so what I'm trying to say actually is that it's based upon these things. When I was growing up, I became very conscious of them because both my parents were indigenous people from royal family. So I saw the difference. But in 1974, just to start from the thing of 1974, which was 52 years ago, that's when I received my calling. What I've been doing for the past 52 years is not something like a what you call career. We call it vocation. When God calls you to do something, it's completely different from going to go and learn it. So what happened was that when I had this vision, in my vision, God inspired me to write a play that had to do with national unity and unification. And that play was staged at the Open Door Theater in 1974, 52 years ago. The play had to do with Kekula or Pelebo that got married to a Congo girl. And they had children, and their children were related to both sides of the family. So the idea was to bring Liberians together. And that's the theme that I pursued. But then in 1977, 49 years ago, we had a dynamic leader in the country, Tolbert. President Tolbert regarded the young people as his precious jewels, and he would support young people who were very smart and very productive. And that's how come he heard about me. And he didn't hear about me only when I was in Liberia. I took Dehkontee Artist Theater to Freetown, Sierra Leone, and we performed at the State House. We performed at Flora Bay, and we performed at the State House at the invitation of the acting president of Sierra Leone. And the Liberian ambassador, all the diplomats that were invited to that production, Dr. Joseph Morris watched the production, was the change of apartheid that had to do with apartheid in Southern Africa at that time. And Tolbert was promoting the total liberation of the African continent. So my play kind of enhanced his foreign policy. So when he saw that, he invited us to the Meschach to perform. And from that time, he gave us the support that I needed to go on. And people like Barty Moore, we had responsible people in government these days who would recruit young people who were very talented. And that's how come I came in contact with Barty Moore and the congresswoman they call Malina Jackson, Parker. And she was a lawmaker and was a musician. And she introduced me to Barty Moore, and the rest is history. But that's how we started with respect to Dehkontee Artist Theater. Dehkontee Artist Theater is a collegiate, is one of the longest surviving private and collegiate organization. In order to be a member of Dehkontee Artist Theater, you must at least be a high school graduate. But mostly college students and college graduates are members of Dehkontee Artist Theater. So the national coordinator that you're looking at, for instance, has his Bachelor of Science degree in Public Health from Tubman University. The director for the Druba chapter has her BA degree in accounting from the University of Liberia. Philomena Aku, who is the director for the Benandru chapter, has her a BA in guidance counseling. We do that because we want the young people to not only know about their culture, but to be capable of reaching out to the community to spread the word and to educate the people. So that's why you see I'm in the United States, but it seems like I'm in Liberia because the young people are being trained under me to be responsible, to take a responsibility and all of that. So all of what you're going to be watching on Saturday in Liberia is done by the youth of Liberia. Youth empowerment is part of the program that we carry out.
Thank you. Let me go to you, Michelle, the national coordinator of DATI in Liberia. Just give a little bit of background. What does that mean, and what exactly do you do? Tell me about DATI operation in Liberia.
Thank you so much, Mr. J. So again, my name is Meschach Sieh Elliot, the National Coordinator of Tahiti in Liberia. Dehkontee Artist Theatre Incorporated was established in 1977 on the campuses of the University of Liberia by Liberia's playwright and theatre director, Professor Dr. Joseph Gbaba, who is currently here on this show. Tahiti promotes our Liberian and African culture. We also promote peace, unity, and reconciliation in Liberia. We've been involved in peace activities, and we've also been involved in promoting our Liberian and African culture. Currently, we have two chapters in Liberia. We have the Tati Benelu chapter that is in Maryland County, and we also have the Tati Dubo chapter that is in Monrovia County. These are the two chapters that we have here in Liberia. We have an upcoming activities, which is the Gbaba Peace and Cultural Festival. The festival is named in honor of the founder and executive director of the institution, Dr. Gbaba. And the festival is scheduled. It has already begun. It has begun like a few days ago. It started last week Saturday with the Timothy Gardner Peace Tournament, which was held at MBTC on the campus of MBTC among 8 high schools. So Peter Patrick Winia was able to win the the Timothy Gardner Peace Tournament. And this Saturday, a day from now, which is the 28th of February, will be the Rabbi Dogbaba Peace and Cultural Festival, which will begin with a parade. And so it will begin with a parade, and the parade will start from the Steering Turbo Estate Junction, right on the football field, where all of us will assemble by 8 o'clock, and we will assemble there with our traditional regalia, our Liberian African cultural attire, and we will march to MPTC, where we will have the formal indoor program. We at the parade and the indoor program, we will have the global war dance, both male and female. They will be performing, and we will also have a cultural troupe from the office of the ambassador. We are also in touch with the Liberia National Tourism Authority. They will also be there as well. We've received a permit from them. And on that same day, the evening of that day, we will have a cultural show. At the cultural show, we will have up to 6 different artists who will be performing at the cultural show. So these are our upcoming activities, and we want to encourage the audience to be part of these activities. The theme for this year's festival, the Joe Baba Peace and Cultural Festival, is institutionalizing and teaching of our Liberian culture and history in all Liberian schools. We want to see that our culture is enshrined in the national curriculum, that our culture can be taught in school, beginning from primary level all the way to tertiary level. Because we feel that when our culture is taught in schools, our parents will be forced to teach us our culture. While we learn it in school, we'll also be learning it at home. Because if you do a statistic today, I mean, 80 to 90% of the youth in Liberia do not really speak their native languages, and that is a serious issue. When we go out, the only thing we speak out there is English. Does English belong to us? No, it doesn't belong to us. What belongs to us is our native language and culture.
Thank you. Dr. Baba, let's talk about the theme, right?
Yes.
Institutionalizing Liberian history and culture in schools. Why is this theme so urgent in 2026?
Well, it's urgent because you know for 52 years, as we said, I've been promoting this idea of let's teach our children the culture. Let's institutionalize it. It hasn't been taken seriously, and and then we had a disastrous historical experience, trauma with the war, the genocide that took place. All those things took place because of the lack of self knowledge,
Mhm.
and people think that if a new government comes in place, you a new party comes in place, and if they pave the road, then that's development. No, that's not development. Development begins here in the mind. That's where the development begins, in the mind of the people. So if you put all the gold and diamond in the streets and all of that, and the people minds not mature, they will take that gold and diamond and waste dirt on it and do everything else with it because they're not prepared. So the first place that you begin with national development is the development of the manpower, the mental or ability of the people and all of that. That's one. The other thing is that, for instance, you don't know how much I was hurt. I was hurt very seriously. I wanted Liberian people to know when I found out that Kennedy was sold, that our national shrine was destroyed, sold to an American man for him to build a hotel, to build a brothel, a sacred ground, to build a brothel. That's why I was trying to explain from the beginning, Dennis. And he said, "Oh, the people, they didn't force you to do this and that." But that was gross disrespect. That's why we're going through the bad luck and trouble that happening in that country. That part of it. They went dug up the holy ground, the sacred place where we had our traditions. People used to travel from all over the world to come to Kennedy. You went and destroyed that thing, and you say you leader of a country, and you this and you that, and nobody talk. Nobody, no lawmaker, nobody said, "Why did you, Madam President, why are you destroying the place to do this?" Nobody said it. You know why they didn't say it? Because first of all, they don't even know their culture. In our culture, as a quiet man, I will sit down, somebody go do something like that in a place and you don't talk. That money you're looking for or what? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I was trying to explain from the beginning, about it, because these are the consequences. It hurt me so much, to the extent that up to now we don't even have that place like that. And when I made attempts to talk to different people during the weird time or whatever time, yelling time, nobody listened to all of that. So that's why I decided that I will go to the people of Liberia to tell them that we need a school of the performing and visual arts because we got to preserve our culture. I'm a traditional man. I cannot sit down for my country to not have a culture. I'm a traditional man. My grandfathers, great grandparents were those. I cannot sit for it to happen to say, "Oh, I got PhD and this and that." No, ain't no PhD business. We will build it. With the help of the people, we build it. That's why we're launching the fund drive in Monrovia. We could have launched it here in America. That is not for America. It's for Liberia.
Mhm.
And during the 50th anniversary, I will come to Liberia to join everybody for us to have the third annual Rabbi Gbaba Peace and Cultural Festival in the place. That's why we don't have peace in the place, because the spirits of our ancestors are angry with us. And the people don't seem to understand that because they think they're civilized. You're not civilized if you don't know your culture, if you don't respect your traditions. This is where we are. That particular festival we're having is for us to appease our angry ancestors who are rolling in their graves. Bati more than all of them, Tangaja, Gbaba, Johnson, they all rolling in their graves. After they take all those things that will bring the country up, and they come and destroy it in the name of what? I don't understand. Where is Canada to all that big land? If you want to sell something to Mr. Johnson, you can't take one piece of land to tell you how to be Canada, but you know why they did that? Because of our identity. So that we cannot have an identity, so that we can be stupid, so that we can be singing Zekwe behind people when we're not supposed to be singing Zekwe. That's what the issue is. So I ask all Liberians, all indigenous Liberians, especially all those of our sons and daughters in the house. In the house. You don't take this for a joke. Our ancestors, they are vexed with Liberia. One of you come from villages and towns, and some of you act like you I don't know where you come from. That should stop. It should stop. Wearing African attire on one day is insufficient. We need an institution where we can offer degrees, courses in Mano, Kyo, Kran, Mandingo, where we can get degrees in the while we go to our own university to go get degree in English, but we can get degree in Vi. Why? Because of the mental destruction. Our minds are colonized. That's where we are with this.
So that when you say you're going to teach culture in Liberian schools, what does that look like? Give me an example.
Okay. Now, it's good you ask that question because, you know, apart from being a cultural expert, I'm also an educator. I went to a school of education. So I learned how to teach the pedagogical theories and all of that. Okay. And not only that, because I was in that war and I experienced what happened and how the young people, especially children of the indigenous people, had to take guns to go and fight war for somebody to go become president and all of that. They deprived the children that you're calling Zokos today. They deprived those children of access to educational opportunities. So I studied special ed, special education, elementary and special education. I got my second master in that because it's a special kind of education that you training that you take so that those people like the ones we have in Liberia who were deprived that ability opportunity to learn. Like for instance, a child who was 12 years old during the war, that was in third grade. After 20 years, that 12-year-old is a 32-year-old person with second grade education in their head. So you're wondering why things are happening in Liberia like that. There's no remedial, nothing. When things like those happen in the country, you must also have therapeutic services for the people who were not provided. I understand that the UN and everybody provided the funds to do that. But because of people who orchestrated the war don't want the Liberian people to improve, they wanted to be mentally enslaved, they decided to leave the people like that. So most of what you see happening in Liberia is mental health issues going on in the country. So the educational system now has to be reconceptualized. But in order for that to happen, you know, people like us who have the critical and technical knowledge have to sit with people who were appointed politically to run the educational system. That educational system that is being run right now we need to sit down at the table. And what people do after a war like this is that you call your best brains. I don't want to be a member of a political party before I can serve my country. No, because being a member of the political party, we kind of segregate me from certain people, and I don't want that. So I prefer to be a private citizen as I'm doing so that everybody can benefit from what I have to teach to them and all of that. So in the schools and things, for instance, we have to teach the languages.
Okay.
We have to let them know that we are one people. You know, a Gbaba man looking at a crew man and thinking the different people. No, we got the same blood. Our ancestors were brothers and sisters. That's why we all are clustered up in the southeastern region. That's why when you speak Gbaba, I can understand you. When I speak Kra, you can understand it. When the other person speak crew, you can understand the crew person. Because we're all brothers and sisters. That's why we're together. Grand Judea, River G, Sano, Grand Baza, River Sets, Grand Crew, all those people like that. Then you have the other set of people, the Mandé speaking people. They on the other side, they all related. The Kisi, the Bandi, the Mende, the Loma, Pele, they all related. You see, that's how. So we are related, but the children need to know. So, for instance, in the schools, let me give you another example. Let's take Nimba for instance. In Nimba, you got Mano people, you got Pele, you got Basa, you got Kran, you got what's that? Other tribes around there that are part of in Nimba. So, for instance, in Nimba County, if we're working on the curriculum, we will provide electives in those schools for the ethnic groups that are there, so that the kids in that county can have access to learning the languages and the history and culture of those individual ethnic groups that are in that county. You can do the same thing with Monrovia. You can do the same thing with River G, this and that. You know, you have to structure the educational system in a way that it serves the needs of the learners. It serves the needs of the people, to bring people together, to help people to be united, because of the lack of that knowledge of knowing who you are and who I am makes us to think that we're different people. And that's what brought all this war and all this confusion. And that's why the confusion still continues, because everybody is running behind money, and the money is not going to do it. What it's going to do is what I'm saying now. And I want for the Liberian people to listen to me, because in time to come, if push comes to shove and they're not listening, you know, we will get the young people, you know, to run, so that we can help them run the country better. But it has to be done in a way where we respect our culture and our history. And that's part of why we want to institutionalize it, because the kids must learn about themselves, not only at home, but also in the school. So there has to be congruence between the school and the community. There has to be that relationship, but right now it isn't that way, because the kids go in the school and you're teaching them about winter, spring, summer, and fall, when you got dry season and rainy season in the country. The reason why people are, or for instance, depending on Pusawa and making political issue out of it, that's because we don't plan. Our educational system has been shaped in a way to make us to be subservient to the Western world, to be dependent instead of being independent. You see, we got all the rich soil we got. Why is it that we can't feed ourselves? What's stopping us? Why is everybody all clustered up in Monrovia? Because we're not designing programs to encourage the people to go back to the soil, to provide the means. Sometimes you have to provide the means for them to be able to do it. So these are things that in our schools, in our educational system, the curriculum has to be revamped. And that's part of my training as well, because my doctoral degree is doctoral studies is about creating Afrocentric curriculum and textbooks. So I'm able to also assist the government as a consultant, because I don't like political positions, because I can't sit down for somebody to turn Z into K when it's supposed to be K because one position. No, K is K and Z is Z, and people need to understand that. You see, so the curriculum, that curriculum there has to reflect who you are teaching. Where is this teaching taking place? You you cannot teach somebody in Bapolu something about London, and got a whole chapter or a whole semester you teaching a person about London. When you will teach a person about Bella Yala, that right there by them, so that they will know what Bella Yala was. So this guy is passing around the place. He said, "Pa, what place is that?" He said that Bella Yala. He said, "Oh, what do they do in Bella Yala?" He said, "Oh, they so bring all the political prisoners and things here." But the child didn't know that because he didn't learn about Bella Yala. He learned about the prison in London where they got Taylor. That when they taught the child the thing way away, they take you away from your real environment and send you somewhere else so that you will not be conscious of yourself. The type of education we need in Liberia is the type of education that you conscientize the learners to know who they are. Most of us don't even know where our mineral resources deposits are. Oh, so what? The Chinese people come, they already finished studying the whole place. So all the places that you see them going to, they already finished studying where the places are. But we will have our own land. We don't even know that we're sitting on gold and diamond because it's not that we don't have geologists and all of that. We got those people. But are we using them? Are we giving them the opportunity for them to tell us what they're doing? So those are the kinds of things that the educational system, must address. You see? Then also, when you do the curriculum, you got to do the textbooks because the textbooks got to match what's in the curriculum that you're teaching. So if you're talking about the national health, or you're talking about national unity or whatever it is, then you should have books that will tell you about how the kings those days or the elders those days, how they used to go under the palaver hut to discuss issues and all of that. Those things there will relate to it so that when they have their own problems, when you have your own problem, you think, you say, oh yeah, our ancestors used to go under the palaver. Let's go under the palaver hut to go talk our thing. Instead of saying you're going to peace conference in Abuja, or you're going to some so-called peace conference in Yamoussoukro, your thing happening right there with you for you to go and do it to resolve it. You saw how the Liberian people, they traded their foods. They went to Yamoussoukro, they went to Abuja, they went to this place and that place to resolve a problem that's in Liberia. Who does that? Those are the kinds of things, that we need to address. And Liberians should be patient. And if you've been patient with me for 52 years, you may as well, until God calls me, for you to hear what I'm saying, and for us to do what we're supposed to do. Because if we don't do it, we're not going anywhere. Nowhere.
Thank you. Mr. Elliot, the DATI is partnering with Liberian Musician Union, Lensu, and all these people. How do these partnerships strengthen the mission of the festival?
All right, so the partnership, they are key because with the issue of the Liberia National Student Union, we are also dealing with the student community. Like I initially stated, we just had the Timothy Gardner Peace Tournament, and it was among 8 different schools that competed for the Timothy Gardner Peace Tournament trophy. So the students as well, they will also be part of the parade because like I said initially, the theme for this year's Peace Festival is institutionalizing and teaching of our Liberian culture and history in Liberian schools. So since the Liberia National Student Union links these directly with students, we've decided to partner with them, and because we have a component that has to do with the involvement of students. The Liberia National Musician Union, we have artists that will be performing at the cultural festival on the 28th as well in the evening time. The Liberia National Musician Union, they are those they supported us in the process. The institution supported us in the process to be able to identify artists that promote our Liberian African culture, and artists that also promote peace and reconciliation in Liberia through songs. So this partnership, they are key in making sure that we have a successful festival. Thank you.
Thank you. And you being a student, from you went to school in Liberia from ABC until you graduated from college. How do you see that gap? Like the history, Liberian culture, and all the Liberian things that are missing in the school. How has that impacted you?
Uh, when it comes to our culture, I went to a Catholic school from first grade all the way to university. So
Mm.
We have some, we
Yeah,
have some,
frozen.
we have some problems
high
there.
school, our culture is not taught in schools all the time. I graduated from university, and our culture is not taught in schools. Are you getting me? Am I
No,
okay
yeah,
No.
now?
I'm telling you. We have some
Am
issues
I okay
there.
now?
Yeah,
Am
we
I
can
okay
hear you
now?
now.
Yeah.
Am I okay now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah. So I was saying, I'm living in Liberia. I went to school in Liberia. When it comes to is not taught in schools, it's a serious issue. Because of that, most young people do not even know how to address, their older people. We do not even know how to really speak our own native languages. And so it's a serious barrier when it comes to the issue of our culture.
Mhm. And what we're speaking, I'm asking this question
Schools.
deliberately.
At the university level,
Oh, go ahead.
like at the university level, at Tottenham University, we have so it's optional. You either learn French or you learn global. So that is at the university level. So if you wanted to learn a little of your native language, which is global, since the university is situated in Maryland, you could go learn global. But at high school level, at primary level, that is not done. So I think in my mind, it is important for our culture to be taught in schools. It will help us a lot. If our culture is taught in school, we might not go back in the bush because our culture is deep. When you learn our culture well, you will understand that all of us we are one. We should be able to respect each other. When you learn our culture well, you understand that it is not good to send out information that are not correct because most of us we know that informations are not correct and we put them on social media just to cause chaos. It's because we don't really know our culture. And so I I started to understand the importance of our culture, but then I was almost out of university. And so it hurt me a lot that I cannot really speak my native language, even though I know some, but not to that extent. So I think it is important for our culture to be taught in school. It will really impact the young people. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dr. Baba, in most of Africa, we emphasize a lot on bloodline, where, and that's why, like, if you were, when the war happened, you have people that went to Ghana, have children there, or Guinea, or any of those countries. But because in America, I mean, before the Trump era, you born in America, you're American. I mean, in Africa, we do too much of a bloodline. So even though you were born in Liberia, your parents are Fula, or their parents or your grandparents Fula, but so long you are Fula, you born in Labrador, we always look at you, oh, you foreigner, oh, you this. And I'm saying this because we stress a lot on bloodline. Now, when we bring it down to our ethnic groups, sometimes we stress the ethnic groups so much that instead of embracing diversity, it divides us. So if you were even in school and somebody say, okay, today we're going to learn Gil, you say, oh no, but I'm not Gil. I want to learn my own something, right? So to what extent can we do this? Can we promote culture at the same time respecting diversity and embracing one another? Because our people sometimes they have, you will see a crown person have Mandingo name and they were okay with that. But sometimes their tribal identity is so strong that we don't even want to adapt anything else. How does Dehkontee artists that is trying to bridge that gap to fill that void? So even though we are different, we can embrace our cultural identity and so love the other culture and not take our culture to okay, since I'm crown or since this school is in Maryland, we got to learn Gribble. We could be learning Bandi, right? So, how do you? What is your strategy in making sure we embrace our cultural identity, we embrace our ethnic identity, but at the same time, also trying to embrace others? I can be, Crew, and I don't know how to speak Crew, but I can speak, Loma. That should be perfectly fine. What do you think?
Yeah. What you're talking about the issue of inclusion. That the issue of inclusion. In order for you to have the issue of inclusion, you first must be able to understand the importance of diversity, because with diversity comes the need for inclusion, so that you don't exclude yourself. And that's what that has been my theme for 52 years. For 52 years, I've been striving in my work, literary work, as well as my real life, to unite Liberians from all walks of life. And how have I done that? You remember I told you that my first play was about this Bella boy that got married to the Congo girl. They got children. The children were related to both the Congo and the country people. So the idea of inclusion and integration is also one of those things that must be embedded in the curriculum. It must be embedded in the textbooks that we teach our children. It's time to practicalize it. So that's why we're moving to the stage where we're talking about building an institution completely specialized in those areas, because that's how you bring people together. So, for instance, the story that I wrote, uh, uh, but 9 years after I wrote that story, I, a traditional person, got married to an American Liberian. Uh, and that didn't make a difference for me. It didn't make a difference for my wife. We've been together for 40 some more years. So the idea that those things that you're talking about, where they say Congo a country, the person Congo a country, but the woman she Congo she American Liberia Accra, you know. But guess what? We live together in peace and harmony. Why? Because we respect each other. We love each other. Not only that, back in the days when people got married, they go for honeymoon, they take their women and people to Las Palmas and go to England or whatever it is for honeymoon. You know what I told my wife? I told my wife to Grand Chile. I said, let's go so you see where I come from. Took her to Grand Chile, took her way in the village to Tufue town.
You were chief, Dr. Baba.
Yeah, but imagine that. So Congo women are taking away to in the country where they don't have inside bathroom. Gotta take bath outside, all those kinds of things. That's how you know where love is and all of that. You see, that's a respect. So she didn't say, oh, well, you don't have combo or inside bathroom, this and that, so I want you out this and that. That wasn't the thing. That wasn't the issue. So those are the kinds of values. Those values come through our culture. That value to love you, Dennis, as you are, and for you to love me as I am, that's what we're supposed to be teaching. That's what we're supposed to be teaching. Does it make a difference? For instance, I have benefited from all Liberians. I can speak a little bit of Loma, I can speak a little bit of Pele, I can speak a little bit of Mano, Kyo, Crew, Grebo. I'm just all over the place because I love my people. That's how I learned to be who I am. They made me great. They made me great because I got a bit of everybody in me. The Congo, everything. I got part of Congo relatives. I did. Boy, Joe, how you doing? So, man, I'm all right, Baba. We gonna do this thing together, man. You see, you have to be adjustable. So when you provide that kind of enriching curriculum, it will make the students, to love one another. Look at this young man. Yeah, he has never seen me before in person. The only way he has seen me like now as we do, he never saw me before in person. But he been in my classes for 7 years now. So you can see how he's talking and all of that. He's talking like that because of the instruction, because of the curriculum that I provided. That curriculum related to his life. To Benadu, when the Inke Pama, I said, where are you? He said, Inke Pama. I said, what's the original name of the place? Say Benadu. I said, all right, that Dati Benadu chapter. Say, what the name of Monrovia before they name it Monrovia? I said, Dubo. I said, Dubo chapter. You got to make the children to get into it. You got to tell them the story so that they will know the original story to get a feel of it. That's why you see, and I'm here in America and they're having a festival. The empowerment. When you empower the youth, that's the other thing that you have to do in the curriculum. You have to empower the young people. You let them know that I trust you, you can do it. I don't have to come to Monrovia to organize or coordinate or cultural festival. I can give you the instruction and you can go ahead and you do it, you'll be successful. But it's the way how you teach the people. It's the curriculum, the lectures that you provide, and the way how you give the support. You got to give the young people support. And that's what we're doing. You ask about the musician union and all of that. All those musicians, I think, that's when I told them about the School of Performing Arts or A.B. Suarez said, oh, but he said that, but that's something that we need because our artists need to go to school. They need to learn their skills. They need to go there to get degrees in acting, in music, in dance, and all of that. So the School of the Performing Arts will be offering courses in Liberian dance, in Liberian languages, the history, culture, and all those kinds of things, in music. They will learn those things that people will have to travel from abroad to come to Liberia to take courses in that school, to come and get degrees in that school. And because you see, the thing about it is that people are coming here to America to do African studies. How the hell are you going to come to America to go do African studies? No, you will come to Liberia to do African studies. And that way you see the real zones and things that will bring them from Lofa, from Grand Jida, from all the places. They will come there and you will learn the real thing, the authentic story about what's taking place and all that. So that's how you do it. So this program is also a youth empowerment program. The Kekura Kamara, the cultural ambassador. You know what people don't understand is that the Kekura Kamara, my little brother, because his brother Jala Keke Kamara was a big brother to me. We were very close. We worked together. I worked under him at the cultural bureau and all of that. So Kekura is my little brother, and I will support him anytime with respect to that, and also teach him what he's supposed to do, because that's what Bati Mo did for me. He taught me what to do. He taught me the secrets and the information about the country that many people there don't even know. That's why they're struggling. They're struggling because in order for you to run the country, you got to know who you're dealing with. Most of the people that don't know the people that they're ruling, they just want to make the money. It's not all about money. It's about the love for your country, the value. That value is more than money. Right now, I feel I live a happy life more than some people who got so-called millions and all of that. Why? Because of the value, the satisfaction in it. When you are connected to the spirits of your ancestors. Like for instance, as I'm speaking now, my ancestors are here. I say, Gbaba o Daniel Penny o, Mokra Gao. Tomuo Daniel Penio. When you vote, you hear that sound like the little thing that I just said, you go feel it. That's how powerful our culture is. It's not a play thing. For someone to go boat to use bulldozer to go demolish cultural Kennedy. That's an abomination. We gotta make sacrifices for our ancestors to be happy again, for Liberia to come back to where it's supposed to be. Baby, no way.
Thank you. Let's wrap it up. Looking ahead, let's look ahead. What is your long-term vision for the Rabbi Joe Gbaba Peace and Cultural Festival, and for Dati as an institution? Let me start with your coordinator. You know, as a young man growing under the oh, all right, we lost him. So go ahead. Let's look ahead.
The plan here is that we are launching this festival. The second annual festival is basically for launching the fundraiser. That's what we're going to be doing on Saturday. All those that we're inviting, who are participating, are coming to be part of the fundraiser, the initial fundraising activity for the School of the Performing and Visual Arts. And as I told you before, this is a Liberian people's project. So I couldn't launch it here in the United States because it's not for the American people. American people got Kennedy Center, Smithsonian, this and that. The people got their things all set up, but they come to you and fool you, and you destroy all your stuff. So that's why I'm coming to you, the people, you know, to let you know that we need this thing here. Our culture must be preserved. So the program on Saturday is for raising funds to see how the people themselves can support an idea that will benefit them. We're not spoon feeding people. This is something that the Liberian people must do for themselves, because we've done a lot of research, and people have told me, oh, this is good, we need it, this and that. Well, if it's good, then put your hand in your pocket, take your $2 or $3 and put it inside the pot so we can get started. So that's for this year. But next year, which is the 50th anniversary, whatever we raise this year, we're going to purchase the land, and next year I myself will be on the ground. I'll be wearing my bumble and thing, and we'll be in that parade. And the next year is when we're going to be doing the groundbreaking ceremony to construct the School of the Performing Arts. That's how we're going to start. And hopefully when the school is ready, which will have, you know, different departments, culinary arts, music, dance, literature, and all those things, and research, all those different departments and things, to give people the opportunity to learn what they want to learn, to know more about the country, and of course to also assist the government. Not everything the government can do. So, but if we can just get the cooperation of those who are holding positions, you know, like for instance with Dehkontee Artist Theater, with all my training and all the competent young people that I have on the ground and all of that, if the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and can give us, you know, their approval and you know, introduce us to some of the international NGOs and say, look, this thing here is going to be good for our people. Let's give them the support. It's just as easy as that. But if we don't get it, we ourselves will raise the money. I'll raise the money to do it, to build a school, because it has to be built. It has to be built, and our culture has to be defended, because that's what I told you, I'm a traditional man. I feel insulted when my people don't know how to speak their own language, and they're fighting hard to learn how to speak someone else's language. I feel insulted when my people don't respect one another. You, Dennis, with all your capability as a journalist, you're sitting down and wasting, and somebody sitting out there on social media who did it on the forcing with somebody on social media instead of getting competent people to produce shows and all of that. Long time ago, if people were not as naive as they are, long time ago, we having movies and things. I went to acting and directing school, educated and taught by actors and directors from Hollywood and Broadway. So what are they doing with Joe Gbaba? Nothing. You see? And because they don't want to hear the stuff that I'm talking about, and the truth must prevail. That's the only way we can help our country and help our people. And that institution, with the grace of God and the support of the Liberian people, we are very confident that in the next generation to come, the young people will have the choice of learning about themselves. Even those who are here in the diaspora, that are having children and grandchildren, you can always send a case, for summer courses in Liberia at the school for them to learn about the history and culture. Because many of them don't know where their parents come from. They don't know how to speak the language, nothing of that kind. There's no need for us to be lost like the way the slaves were lost when they were brought here to America, because they didn't have any connection. Fortunately for us, some of us are here, but we have relatives back home. So we got that connection. So since we have that connection, we want to keep that connection going by having something where people can travel, come to Liberia. And it's going to be good for tourism too. Because when we put up productions, like for instance, when I used to put up chains of apartheid productions, people used to travel for other countries to come and watch my shows around them. I used to get BBC people coming, VOA, and all those people used to come to watch the thing. It's not a play thing. When President Tolbert saw my production, he was shocked. He said, "My goodness, a young man like this in college can do this thing. We should promote him." He was in the middle of doing that when he was assassinated, and he was the only Liberian president that even or maybe close to it was Emma Sawyer, who was an interim person, and all of that. He was the only Liberian president that saw the light. He saw him. He said, "Damn it, this is good." When Akufu came to Liberia to visit, a Ghanaian head of state with Jerry Rawlings, he said, "I want you to come and see this young man from the university. Come and see what he's doing." He was proud of his own Liberian youth doing something like that intellectual. But then after that time, we had darkness in Liberia. The light of enlightenment went dim. And that's where you see the things you talk about, say, the thing, the ethnicity and this and that, why it's coming in. Because when you got a civilized mind and light, it doesn't matter where the person comes from. For me, it doesn't matter what tribe you are, whatever it is. The enlightenment will give you that blessing for you to love everybody as they are. And people will accept you as you are too. If you show them the love, they will show you the love. And that's the love that I'm getting all the way in America. And people are celebrating me in the country where I'm not there. Why? Because we got a bond.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We lost Mr. Elliot. So let's wrap up. Let me get your closing. Thank you so much for accepting to come, and thanks for the work that you are doing in our country. The same way they say the reward of the teacher is in heaven, maybe your reward is in heaven too.
No, my reward is right here. That's why I'm getting my reward now. My reward not in heaven. That's what I'm saying. You see, I was telling you something about the spirituality, and you were saying, because of this, but that's what this festival is all about. Because
so I want you to give us your 1 minute closing.
Pardon me?
Your closing, 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah. So my closing here is that you asked a very important question. You said, how can we, this thing about tribalism and this and that, how can we, address it? And I was trying to tell you that the idea about inclusion, that's number one. The how you can address it is by having an institution like the performing and visual arts institution where these things can be addressed in a civilized manner. That's one way to do it. One of the other ways is through research. All right, but for me, for instance, I'm a connection between Grand Jide and Niba. My father, when he was born, my grandfather was friendly with a Gyo chief. So when my father was born, the Gyo chief came to see the baby, and he named my father Toma. He said in Gyo it means the one that replaces the person. He said, this is my son. When I die, he will take my place. So my father named, well, they named me Toma, but the Crown people cannot pronounce Toma the Gyo way. So they say Tomu. So that's why my name is Joseph Tomu Galode. That Tomu there, that Gyo name. You see? So if Bana, Gyo people and Crown people are not friendly, why would about 100 years ago, almost my father was 90 something when he died, and he died 15 years. Why would a Gyo man name or Crown man's son, and give him a Gyo name, and my father died with that name, and I got a name. Okay, that's one. Two, I went to school in Nimba. Nobody bothered me. Nobody did anything. So some of these myths and things, they are things that politicians do to divide and rule people. So those are some of the things that if you do cultural research, you will find out that we are all one people, and there's no need for us to continue to carry that belief. So this school will be a place where we will address some of those issues, biases and all of that, so that people can understand that we are one people. So I encourage everybody to participate in the parade, because the parade is important. We want to see how many people are proud to wear the traditional attire and march in the street for the whole world to see them, because we'll make sure it will be video recorded. And I hope the focus people will be there too, so that the world can see Liberians who are proud of who they are, who are proud of speaking the language, who are proud of wearing their traditional outfit, who are proud of being Liberians. How can you say you are Liberian, you're ashamed to speak a Liberian language? How can you say you are Liberian, you're ashamed to wear a Liberian dress? Who are you? This process, will help to begin the decolonization of the minds of our people. And this is where we are, because we have a whole lot of work to do. Our system has been infested with a lot of Western, or valueless ideas that are not beneficial to us. And we pray that this process is the beginning of a rebirth, a cultural rebirth in the Republic of Liberia. And I thank God Almighty for all the support that He has given me, all my relatives and friends, all of you, Dennis, everybody, whoever contributed towards, promoting my work and giving me the opportunity to talk to people today that I didn't have to pay a brass copper. And also those journalists back home who want me to pay them money first before they can give me an interview. You are depriving the Liberian people of valuable knowledge. Real journalists are supposed to be calling Dr. Baba, can we have an interview with you? Can you do this? And I know you want me to come to pay you money first before I can give you knowledge. No, it can't work that way.
Thank you so much, Dad. We appreciate your time. And Mr. Elliot had to drop off because of network connectivity. I want to thank our viewers for watching, even those who will watch later. Until then, we close with our song that says, "We are all Liberians." Have a great day.
Yes, we are. Thank you so much.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.